Masechet Hullin Daf Yod Amud Aleph, around 14 lines down. Itmar, we said, Hashohet Basakin, Venim Perumav. Someone slaughtered with a knife, and after you slaughter, he then finds to see that he has a nick on the knife after he slaughtered. Marabuna says, Afilu Shiber Ba'an Samot Koyam, even if the slaughterer smashed bones with a knife the entire day before checking it, Pisulat Pasul. Haishinan Shema Be'ornif Gema, because we're worried that maybe the knife developed a nick while slaughtering. But Hizam Marakishar has kasher. Shema be'aritzim nifkema. Maybe the bone was the one that nicked the knife while he was cutting through it. That was Bishlam Rav Huna, but Shemata, like we mentioned, Rav Huna makes sense because he said earlier. Other Rav Hizda might have. Why does Hizda say that maybe the thing happened afterward? Why don't you assume that it happened before the slaughter? The Gemara says, "Malach aritzim vaday pogem." A bone for sure causes the nick in the knife. Or safek pogem, safek lo pogem. But hide does not for sure cause the nick. Have a safek vaday. This now is considered a uncertain versus a certain event. Therefore, an uncertain event is not taken away from a certain. Right? So basically, the first opinion says it's pasul, even if after the guy slaughtered, he broke knives with it all day. Over here, he's saying not. Second opinion says no, no, we can assume that it was kosher before. Because bones create the nick, and hide does not, and therefore you can assume that when he slaughtered, it was kosher. But here, I brought proof for Rav Huna. So someone dipped in the mikveh, came up, and he saw that he had a hatzitza on him. He had something on him, like dirt or something. That was considered a separation. I mean, even if he was busy with that thing the entire day, he was with soil all day, for example. The immersion does not count. Unless he says for sure, after he did he saw this, after he was busy with the soil. But it's pasul unless he for sure can identify that it happened afterward. Okay. Over there, he definitely dipped. And what else? Safek hava alay, safek la hava alay. It's a question whether or not it happened, the soil on him before or after. Because safek musim edaday, we see the safek takes out the vaday. Question against safek his da. Gemara says no. Shani over there is different. The ikalim because another hazaka involved. Ha'amet hamela hiskato. He was tameh before, and therefore that hazaka stays. Ve'ema lo taban over here did not stay. Therefore, the tifal and hell. Turns okay, Hachamami regarding the animal as well. Hamed behema al hiskatha ve'emar lo nishata. The animal was asur before it got slaughtered. Now the animal stays slaughtered, stays asur after slaughtering. Why does that take it out? The Gemara says, "Haresh shautel b'necha," but it is slaughtered now. The Gemara says, "Hachamami totally relaga." Haret haval b'necha also dipped. Same thing. The Gemara says, "No." Ha'itladib be'ra'uta, but the defect was found on the body of the guy. The Gemara says, "Hachanami itladib be'ra'uta," so to his the defect on the knife. The Gemara says, "No." Sakin itra'ay. The knife can have a defect. Behema lo trai, but the animal that itself does not have a defect. Right? So it's different than a body having a defect and the knife having a defect. It's like an outside item. Okay. That's why the animal's kosher, not the part, not the dipping is not a problem. Sorry, the dipping is a problem. Okay, maybe I have another question. Shahat the best that someone slaughtered the bird's esophagus. And the jaw of the trachea became detached from the jaw. Kishras kasher. The trachea came detached first. Then he slaughtered the esophagus. Pislas pasul because terefa. Shahad the slaughtered the esophagus. And you found out that the trachea was detached. You're not sure when it became detached. Did it become detached before after slaughtering? This happened. They said, "Kol safek b'shetahad pasul any safek is pasul." Now where it says kol safek b'shetahad alimay, what do you mean all cases of safek is pasul? What does that include? The Gemara says lava today be'kaigam. So one case over here it's included there regarding the knife, and seemingly it's pasul, not kosher. It's not proof. Lala tu safek shehab safek dras. Not to my case where he had a doubt whether or not he paused or he pressed the knife. In those cases, it's pasul, but over here it would be kosher. The Gemara says now why would be a difference between the two suffix? Why would be the difference between the knife being have a nick or the regarding the person pressing or slaughtering or wait pausing? The Gemara says hatam over there by the pausing or pressing. It's a little bit that actual defect is in the animal. How about with the knife? Sakin mitrai behema lo abim like I said before. The knife has the problem, not the animal. Where it says the hechad kavatei Ravuna kishloshi ber be'aisiv. Halachas according to Ravuna where you do not break bones with the knife after slaughtering. That's when it's pasul. Halachas kavatei Rav Hizda kishiber be'aisiv. Halachas according to Rav Hizda that it's kosher if he was breaking bones with the knife afterward. Michal that Rav Hizda now sounds like Rav Hizda. Afagav lo sheber be'aisiv. Even if the animal's kosher, even if he didn't break a bone after with the knife. My opinion is like he said, why, how would it got damaged otherwise? Why is it kosher? The Gemara says, Ema be'aisim demafreket, if maybe the knife was damaged when it cut into the neck bone after slaughtering. The Gemara says, what did one time happened? He slaughtered many animals, didn't check the knife in between. فترفع إذا التسع حيوانات. If says that as many as 30 animals are pasul. تلفات. Gemara says, كمان who's according to? كده هنا بعفيه كمان is that according to Ravuna, then even the first animal is pasul? لا كده بحيث ده بترك maybe the concept based on all animals except for the first one. Where it says, بيبدل the answer, لم جربونا it is a concept هنا all animals are puzzle. دي جربت now if you want to say it's concept based on مختي. Why would it make sense? بتلات لدينا, we would say maybe the nick in the knife happened because he cut into the first animal's bone, and therefore all the rest of them are kosher. You might be asking maybe why would you say the animal the bone was damaged from the neck bone of the first animal? Maybe it was the last bone, and therefore all animals should be kosher except for the last one. Maybe even the last one itself. There's some other kind says that every single knife has to be checked between each one. Come on, who's according to? If one of them is like my test, let's say Ravuna, then for even the first one possible. لا كانوا حيث maybe even because of Hizdan, therefore they're all kosher after the first one. Mar says, "Yeah, is the case. If that's the case, then the local Tamid Hacham should check it. Why did he not mention that? The Mar says, any single witness regarding to Isur is believable. So therefore, even a regular person checks it, right? That's why we can trust our wives cooking to make sure that they're kosher, to make sure the food's kosher, right? How do we otherwise believe it? Because our wife's saying it's kosher. Hey, also pekuach nefesh, you don't need it. Yeah, if that's the case, make it. I mean, also that's the case. How come it's not kosher from before? Why do you have to before the inspection? The Gemara says, "Ha'amar b'Yochanan la amru la sakin la'acham elam b'pnei shekil hacham." The reason why we're showing it to the hacham is to give him kavod. Okay, minaha milta te'amur banan. How do we know from the Torah that what we learn from the Hachamim? Okay, that we go according to this. We revert to the status of something, right? We have a chazakah. We go according to the last known status. Marabi Shmuel bar Rahman bar Yonatan. Amakra pasuk says regarding the kohen who checked a tzaraat from buyer in a house. V'yatzah kun beit habayit el beit habayit v'hizgir the bayit shvat tamim. Now the kohen shall go out from the house to the entrance and he'll close the house for 7 days. Dilma anda fik wait, why are you saying closing the house? Maybe he goes out of the house, but Sarle Shaura. Then once he goes out of the house, maybe the Sarat shrunk below the minimum. Allah okay, must be since he walks out of the house and closes off, you don't have to be worrying about the fact that it changed, and you go according to Hazakah that it was the original size. And that's why you lock it off. No, maybe. That's not a proof. Maybe he walked out of the house backwards. The Kahazalev Kinafak, and he saw the Tzarat not change until he left. First of all, we have two answers. Hada, first answer, the Yitziat Derech HaChorav Lo Shma Yitziat. Going out backwards is not considered going out because we learned from the Pasuk. Without another answer, what if the Tzarat is behind the door? Therefore, you can't see it as you walk out. Maybe he cut a window into the house or to the door. By the time we learn in Mishnah, it says that in a dark house, you can't cut windows inside. So you can open it. The Gemara says, Marava, the Kamar Yitziyad Derech Harav Lo Shma Yitziyad, that which we said before that you can't go backwards. Going Gadol Yom Kippurim Yochiach, we can prove from going Gadol Yom Kippur that you could do it. Tiktiv Be Yitziyad, because mentioned leaving. Utanam Mishnah says Yitzhak Balo Derech Yitzto, he left backward in the way he went in into the Kodesh HaKodashim. So we see this allowed to walk up backwards. That which they asked before regarding open a window, you're not allowed to do that. That only applies when there's no known sirat inside. But if there is sirat, it is. Therefore, we see from here that you can't bring a tzaraat as a proof for hazakah. Okay. Of course, we have a against Rabbi Yaakov. V'yatzah hakohen mibet habayit. The kohen shall leave the house. Maybe you think he could go into his own house and close off the tzaraat. Petach habayit is go to the entrance house. Ibet habayit is just in the petach. Maybe he could close down the lintel of the house and close it off. Tamar bin abayit from the house. Achi Yetzem in a vine closing has to leave the entire house before closing up. Haketzad, Omed Betzad Mashkof must stand outside the lintel of the house. How do you know that he went into the house and he closed it off? Oh, he stood inside. Either went into his house to close it off or went into this guy's house to close it off. That it still counts. The Avad. Tamar his give the bayit, any way you do it. So we see from here that he can close off a house while it's out of the sight. So how can you do that? The Gemara says, "V'Rabbi Hamar Yaakov." How does he explain it right now? The Gemara says, "Kikon de kaime dera de gavres." It's not a case where there's a line of people standing up from the Tzaraat house until the Kohen's house. V'Amre de Kikai, and they're testifying and they're confirming that the Tzaraat is still there. That's how the Kohen can say that it is it's still there. He can confirm that it gets close from his own house, and you don't need to rely on Hazakah.